So the big deal in premium taxes is the Reno conference. When we quit our previous job and started TriTech August 1st, okay, of '95. And so the first 2-3 months, all we did was code and talk to one another. We really didn't market our software. We didn't do anything. We didn't let nobody know we existed. We were just working on the product. And then in November, when the Reno conference came, that's when we were going to make our debut, right? And I think we might have called a few people and told them we're going to be out in Reno right beforehand. Anyway, so we go to Reno, and of course Kathy is Chinese and has a little bit of an accent, and Robert is like a big, tall Texas guy, and he talks real slow, and he's kind of monotone. I hope both of them ain't mad at me for making fun of him. But anyway, so they chose me to present, right? Well, you know, I've only been out of college 2 years at this point, and I've never really done a big presentation in front of anybody. And besides that, I was kind of nervous. I was kind of nervous in doing public speaking. And I can remember, so it's right before the time to talk, and I am dying. I'm just pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth. But a couple of years prior to that, or maybe even more than that, somebody had given me a card, and on the card it said, "I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me." And so right before that meeting, all I kept saying to myself, and I hadn't memorized that verse until that time, but right before that meeting, I pulled that little card out, and I just kept saying, "I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me." Anyway, so we had a room, and this room was maybe 20 by 10 or something like that. It wasn't a great big room. As we're getting ready to do this, Kathy is outside in the hallway, and she's just opening the door and cramming people in this little room, right? And it was like a double door, and she just kept stuffing them in. And so when I began, it was standing room only in this little room. So we got up there, and Robert was mousing for me, and I was kind of giving a presentation. And of course, I kind of, you know, stumbled through it. I did an okay job, but it wasn't great or nothing. But then after the presentation, they started asking questions. And that's where I came alive, right? Because I knew the answers, right? We had built this software from the ground up. I wasn't just a marketing person. I was the one that built it. And so they could ask me a premium tax question, tax or code, and I knew the answer. And I started popping off answers because I knew them. And I felt awesome after we left. We all did, because we had so much attention at the premium tax conference in Reno. We just thought, man, this is it. And I joke, I said we didn't need the airplane, we just flew home, you know. But what was funny is we ended up with just one client. So we had a room full of people. I want to say 150 people in this room. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe 100, whatever. We had a lot of people in this room, and out of that we ended up with one client, and they paid $300 for the software. Well, we're in trouble then, okay? Obviously, $300 split three ways doesn't go very far. But more than that, you know, that shook our confidence a little bit. That's all we could get out of this. But we decided, hey, we're going to just keep plowing ahead. And it turned out that it was a good thing. We didn't recognize that God was really giving us a blessing because we would have trouble supporting a bunch of different companies. But we were able to support this one company. But sometimes it was tough, even supporting this one company. The hours were extremely long. So I worked 3 days, 24 hours a day. And the other days I worked 16 hours. So we're talking a really, really long time. And so it turns out that the client that we had a printer issue, and for some reason, I want to say it was with Georgia or New Jersey. It was something to do with legal and landscape and switching between those. And see, in our previous job, all we had to write was the tax calculations, you know, field A plus field B equals field C. We didn't have to deal with installing, we didn't have to deal with printing, we didn't have to deal with any of these things that are all brand new to us this year. But printing was one of them. And we had gotten sort of a print engine, and we've been able to make it work, but for some reason the client was having problems this particular time. And we spent a lot of time working on it, on top of just spending long hours trying to get the rest of the software built for them. We were also, just struggling with this issue, and I struggled with it for several days. And I remember it was late one night, and I couldn't do it anymore. That was it. I was done, and I just laid my head down. And I said a little prayer to God, please help. I don't know what this is. And God instantly stuck in my head the answer, and I popped up and said, God knows VB. Yeah.
The prayer is a really important part. I felt in the beginning of TriTech, like I said, we encounter lots of difficulty. There's many cases we just drop on our knee and start praying, and then when we get up, somehow there's a way we just resolve the situation, we move on. In the middle of the TriTech, our company started growing, and we have a lot of leadership differences, and we had a lot of different point of view. Our personality start show up because company had taken off. So I remember we always encounter a lot of argument with how to do things. They are not necessarily right and wrong decision, but we are not united, that's for sure. So about, I think, maybe 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, Robbie suggested that we probably wanted to pray before we start our work. And that was the best suggestion I ever did. Because two persons after we pray, our idea, has been united. It was funny, before he made that suggestions, I tried to pray by myself in my car. I remember I drove up to TriTech. I will park my car at a parking lot, and before I get off my car, I will pray. And I will pray, Lord, please help me control my temper. I will not get mad with Robbie or Robert on any of the things that we cannot come to agreement. And you know what? It was so funny. The minute I walk in, and all of them is forgotten, and I will go through, we'll have an argument, and that was not a happy solution or situation. However, after we start praying together, things just come together, and we spend less energy to argue or undermine each other, and we spend more time on the product. And I think God has blessed us because of it. The older I get, the more I realize there's so many things that it's really out of our control. Things can be missed, things can be overlooked, especially in the processing time. We got so much happening on our desk. It's so easy to overlook something. We don't do it intentionally, but things just happen. And we also make a mistake because we're human. So the more we put it into the hand of the Lord, the less burden we are in. So now I'm getting old. I drop down on my knee more often and quickly. I will not try to even resolve on my own or talk to my friend or talk to anybody. I talk to God first. Then somehow you get a peace which transcends all understanding. Then you can put yourself together and face the problems. And Robbie will open the meeting with prayer. I really enjoy it. I think that's the right thing to do. Yeah.
Today at TriTech, every morning, when Kathy and I come in, the first thing that we do is we get behind my desk and we kneel on our knees and we pray. We lift up each one of our managers and whatever situations are surrounding those managers, whether be an employee that we know about or a particular circumstance of the client or what have you. We just lift that manager up in prayer and those circumstances surrounding them. And so we just go through each of our managers, and then if there's company issues or other things that are coming up, we pray for those. And then we pray about our Bible study. We have a Bible study on Wednesdays, and so we ask God just to bless that time and help us to understand His Word and try to live it out as best we can. And then we also have a prayer request where any of our employees can add concerns that they have on this list, and clients can add concerns as well. And so we just run through that list and pray for those items. And so I've seen many managers with their heads down at their desk praying, and I just walk by and think that is awesome.